Hello everybody, my name is Irada Gezalova. I'm a TESOL-MALL student at Woosong University that is located in Daejeon, South Korea. Today I'm going to tell you about my ongoing research that tries to connect learning theories with natural language processing and artificial intelligence algorithms. The main idea behind the study is an analysis of users' questions that they ask on Q&A forums. Okay, let's start. Personally, I use Q&A forums a lot. Sometimes I'm confused with word usages or grammar in English, so I have to Google the solution to my problem. Very often Google directs me to English Q&A forums. And once I ask myself, what are the main categories of questions that users ask and search for on Q&A forums? Do we have any statistics or information regarding that? It was surprising for me to find a gap in research addressing these questions. In order to understand how learning process occurs on the internet, I decided to perform some research on modern learning theories. As for the older theories, we have to mention constructivism. Constructivism says that knowledge is constructed with learners' experience or connections that play the main role in student education. Constructivism emerged in pre-internet era, and to address changes in learning attributed to technological advancements, connectivism has emerged. Siemens argued that connections of specialized learning nodes are crucially important to students. And learning is actually described as the building of networks. Also, he stated that connectivism reflects changes in learning paradigm, nothing that knowledge acquisition is not just an individual activity performed by a student, but rather learning through the networks. Connectivism emphasizes the role of networks as a device of learning in contrast to pure knowledge. When it comes to the networks, Downs described the idea of personal learning environment, which then he considered as a way to learn something by using community of other learners and technological tools that enable this process. PLE is also technological tools used for learning software, hardware, and services. To wrap up, the notion of PLE combines both technological advancements that enabled learning in the network and personal networks created by learners in order to produce knowledge from other learners. Thus, the relationships created inside learning communities are very important and lead to an idea of personal learning networks as a subset of PLE. When learning becomes a social activity, it turns out to be a PLN. Students create their own learning networks and have to collaboratively discover, develop, and build authentic and reliable networks of knowledge. This research focuses on digital artifacts left by learners in social networks. As a part of the PLN, the learners interact with each other by utilizing social networks as a tool to convey their interests or inquire assistance. Social networks constitute of different types of web-based applications. However, this study focuses on social Q&A forums. As a part of social networks, forums can be divided into two main parts: community-based social Q&A forums and discussion forums. Both promote user interaction and information sharing, but they differ in purposes. Discussion forums are created for people to discuss things in general. However, Q&A forums are meant to be used to find an answer to the question. When the right answer is found, the interaction is typically over. The study focuses only on Q&A forums, since they are better structured for learners' artifacts retrieval, but their nature and moderation made by forum moderators and community. Community-based Q&A that allow users to get more than one answer to a question, such like Yahoo Answer Stack Exchange. Collaborative Q&A that focuses on editing and rephrasing already existing answers, like Wiki Answers, Wikipedia, Reference Desk. This study focuses exclusively on community-based Q&A forums. After brief analysis of community-based Q&A forums, I choose english.exchange.com for this research. It is popular on the internet and its archive contains a significant number of users' questions. Let's take a look on the forum. As you can see, there are questions with answers, categories of questions, tags, and some information about users of the forum. So let's discuss users or participants of the forum. As you can see from the screenshot, some users provide information about them, but mostly not. On the other hand, there is no way to check the validity of the information provided. On top of that, we know that most internet users do not create any digital artifacts like answers or questions. They simply read already existing archive of questions to find a solution. So do I? As for the research, it doesn't matter, since we do not categorize users' problems depending on their personal features. In order to collect data from the forum, I have developed an application using Python programming language. Let's call it Instrument 1. It allows to download page content from the forum and save it on the hard disk of computer as a text table. As you can see, it downloads question title, question body text, question text and original question link, so you can check from where the question was retrieved. Here is the screenshot of the Instrument 1, how it works only with english.stackexchange.com forum. In order to adapt it to another forum, code modifications are necessary. As a result of execution of Instrument 1, and it took around 4 hours, a repository of questions was created. As you can see, quite significant number of questions were asked on this forum. If we compare that to number of samples collected via traditional linguistic studies, hundreds of samples, we can definitely say that we have way more data samples that are traditionally used in linguistic research. So here it comes to the idea that this research is actually a big data research. Talking about big data, we can mention 3 V features of the data: volume, variety, and velocity. Volume means that its amount is much higher than usually used. Variety indicates that data is not well structured, like natural language data. Velocity means that data continues to accumulate. As you can see, the concept of big data suits well for the research subject, since all three formal V features of big data present. Okay, let's take a look on top 12 of collected data tags. As you can see from the table, the tags marked with one color share quite similar meaning. So we will discuss this fact a bit later. Here we can see the frequency of tags in collected questions. As you can see from the graph, the distribution of tags frequency drops sharply. So we can say that majority of questions share a small portion of tags. As I already mentioned, the forum users are quite negligent in tagging their questions, and they put tags with quite similar meanings. We can generalize tags by grouping them according to their meaning. Then we would have all classes or categories of questions that users ask. I would like to rectify data and put additional tags automatically, relying on natural language processing methods. Artificial intelligence theory says that we have two main groups of data categorization: classification and clustering. As we have all classes determined at previous step, we should use classification method. Here it comes to another application, Instruments 2, that is still in development. Having generalized list of tags, I am going to prepare a training set manually and train an NLP algorithm on this data. Then Instrument 2 would be capable to put additional tags on remaining data. So finally, to address the question of this study, the data preceded by the Instrument 2 should be sorted by tags frequency. Then it would be possible to identify a list of most common English learners' problems on Stack Exchange forum. To wrap up the study, I would allow to have an insight on real-world issues with which learners are faced during the autonomous study. Moreover, developed instruments can be used to analyze another forums aside Stack Exchange. However, it would require some code modifications. So, that's all for today, and thank you for your attention.